Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Badger Breakdown, brought to you by U.S. Cellular. I'm Mike Lucas from UWBadgers.com. I'm joined by the voice of the Badgers, Matt Lepay, and each of the preceding 3 weeks we've been foreshadowing this matchup and how much it could mean to both programs, and now we're finally here, Nebraska versus Wisconsin.
Yeah, here it is. And now it's a trophy game. We find out this week, too. The trophy games here to conclude the regular season, back to back to back. But yeah, this is, I think, what everybody had hoped for. Two teams in the thick of it, very much in the thick of it, at the top right now of the West Division, both 4-1. The way the Badgers have battled back after losing that first conference game to Northwestern. Credit to them for making this a very big game.
And I thought there were some more encouraging signs last week at Purdue, especially with the way the quarterbacks were managed.
Well, absolutely. We saw, again, a little tweak in what Andy Ludwig is doing, the offensive coordinator. Not only do you see a quarterback series to series, but you see it down to down, switching off within a series of downs. And just one more thing for opposing defenses to think about. Joel got into a really good rhythm throwing the ball for a good chunk of that game. They did a great job of distributing the ball. 8 different players caught passes. So we always talk about who's going to be that guy, who's going to be that next guy. Well, there were a lot of answers to that against Purdue. Now we'll see if they can carry that over.
It was not long ago we were talking about Joel Stabby and how he excels in the 2-minute drill, and we got another example of that against the Boilers.
Yeah, talking to him this week, he was just saying how much it's fun, you know, that which you hope it is for a quarterback in that situation. But he said it reminded him of being back in high school. Just go ahead, let it fly, get the ball down the field, and that was encouraging to see that. And we haven't even talked about Melvin's 205 that he had on the ground. Don't want to go ho-hum about it. It was another very, very good day.
Wouldn't you agree? Maybe that'd be the word to use, workmanlike. If there's any such thing to rush for 200+ yards, but in his case, it was very much so.
Yeah, for Melvin, you can say that. Probably for Amir Abdullah, when he does it as well, you would be able to say that. Not many running backs you could say that about, but yeah, Melvin he got hit pretty hard a couple of times. The first time he got popped pretty good. It was like the next carry, boom, he got off the edge and turned it into a big play. So yeah, a lot of different weapons. Melvin's 205 was extremely impressive, but you look, it really was a team effort with the way the Badgers were able to pass the ball, good balance, and again, a very, very good defensive performance.
And within that passing attack, we talked about it last Saturday, that Stabby was able to spread the wealth and get a lot of different receivers involved, including Jordan Frederick.
Yeah, career high for him, 5 catches. I mean, he knows that he takes a great pride in being a very good blocking receiver, but it was fun to see him get rewarded a little bit, get the football thrown his way and convert the way he was able to convert. They were able to move the chains when they got the ball to him. He said, well, you get 8 different guys involved, and a guy like Jordan Frederick gets 5 his way. It's another thing. We keep talking about things for defenses to think about. They're obviously going to load up against the run first. That's not going to change, but it was encouraging to see the Badgers get something going through the air.
And over the years here covering Wisconsin football, we've both been treated to a lot of special individual efforts on defense. We saw another one against Purdue with Vince Beagle.
Yeah, he really, has emerged in these last few games, or maybe this season in general, but to see him these last few weeks be able to get to the quarterback the way he did. This team, and talking with Derek Landish earlier in the week, they play fast right now. I think they really understand what Dave Aranda, the defensive coordinator, and that whole defensive staff, what they're teaching, what they're presenting every week. So and a guy like Beagle is physically gifted to begin with. So when guys like him play fast, that's good news.
I can't think of a better measuring stick for Wisconsin now than to run into a Nebraska team that's lost only once, and that was on the road at East Lansing in a game they almost stole at the end.
Yeah, they were very close. They had a pass that would have been a heck of a catch, almost made, wasn't in the edge of the end zone. It was 27-3 in the 4th quarter, and Nebraska came back, got a big punt return for a touchdown. Here we go again, another special teams ace, a young man named DeMornay Pearsonell, who's had 2 punt returns for touchdowns, including against Michigan State. And Nebraska looked like down for the count, but you said very close to pulling that game out in East Lansing. Everybody wants to know about Amir Abdullah. How healthy is he this week? If you're Wisconsin, you assume he's 100%. You assume you have a top billing running back matchup, not to mention 2 really good teams right now.
I think that what fans have been waiting for is this type of game or showdown on a bigger stage. A couple of teams who still have their sights set on getting to Indy late in the season, 2:30 kickoff. It all factors into what type of atmosphere I think we should expect.
Absolutely. And Gary Anderson, which is his style, different coaches have different styles. When he was asked about it this week, he doesn't want to publicly make more of the game than it is. everybody else knows it's a pretty big game. And it's, we've been waiting around here for a game that doesn't kick off at 11 o'clock. Got one at 2:30. Here you go. Again, I go back to a chat with Stavi. Tuesday's practice, they're outside for a few periods. It's 4:30. It's dark. The lights are on. It's cold. Light snow. He was loving it. He says, that's what I'm picturing for Saturday. 4:30. Dark. Lights are on. And instead of an empty stadium, you're going to have 80,000 people for a big stage game. This is part of what the Big Ten is all about. Part of the tradition of the league when you get a cold day in November and two teams playing for a lot.
And I know, talking with some of the players on defense for Wisconsin, they know how much of a factor the crowd could be with Nebraska trying to check on the line of scrimmage, and especially on third downs on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to make that home crowd just that. You want the home field advantage. And another thing about this defense too, just on the field, as good as Abdullah is, and he's exceptional, got to watch that quarterback. And you want to test him, talking about Tommy Armstrong, in the, quote, hostile environment, but he will test Wisconsin's defense too. I think these guys know that if you sell out completely on a guy like Abdullah, Armstrong is good enough. He runs the ball well. He's a pretty physical guy when he needs to be, throws the ball well down the field. But they have, if it's Abdullah back there, he isn't the only, he's the biggest threat, but he isn't the only threat in the backfield.
The season begins anew here on Saturday. For Matt Lepay, I'm Mike Lucas. Thanks for watching Badger Breakdown, brought to you by U.S. Cellular.